get in his car.
Okay.
And I wanted to like bother him.
Sure.
But like, his cancer announcement had just come out, and so I'm like, I'll just give the guy some space. He probably just needs a break. But
Yeah.
I was like thinking about approaching him to like ask to like kiss his ring, like to show respect to the office of bishop. But I caught a beer with the pastor back at home after that. I'm like, what would he have done had I had I asked him? And Father was like, there is nothing that would have made him feel more awkward than to ask to kiss his ring. He probably would have crippled and not known what to do.
Welcome to the Hey Brother podcast, where Catholic men share about real struggles like addiction, self-doubt, and isolation. I'm Nick Clooney, your host, a Catholic psych mentor and the founder of Crafted for More, a mentorship practice dedicated to helping men live more radically free lives. Each week, I sit down with a man to hear his story about how Brotherhood has shaped him, the struggles he's facing, and where he wants to grow. In addition to our weekly interviews, I share conversations with my brother Mitch and give you a look into our Brotherhood as we strive to become the men that God has made us to be. If you're new here, please subscribe and follow so we can walk this journey together. We want your help to build a stronger, authentic Catholic brotherhood. So grab a seat, brother, and remember, you're not alone.
End of an era.
End of an era.
Bishop
Schnurr, yeah.
Dennis Schnurr. Dennis M. Schnurr.
Yeah, that was released this morning.
That yeah.
People were recording on Wednesday, so people will have already known that for a
That's
little bit.
2 days ago for those at home who can do the math.
There we go, yeah.
But it's now, right
us.
now.
Man, but if this is then, this is now.
When will then be now? Soon.
Oh, man. Yeah, it is an end of an era.
Yeah, he's like the only bishop I remember,
Yeah.
Being our bishop since, I think it was 2008, what I saw correctly.
That he took over as bishop.
But I don't even remember his predecessor, so.
Yeah, I just remember his predecessor being a name that flew through the archdiocese when I was working for youth ministries and
it's
stuff
like
that.
Wasn't it like a super Polish name or something like that?
Plarczyk, yeah.
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 But no, Bishop Schnurr, he confirmed our youngest sister last year, and I bumped into him after. I had the chance. I saw him sneaking out the back to get in his car.
Okay.
And I wanted to like bother him.
Sure.
But like, his cancer announcement had just come out, and so I'm like, I'll just give the guy some space. He probably just needs a break. But
Yeah.
I was like thinking about approaching him to like ask to like kiss his ring, like to show respect to the office of bishop. But I caught a beer with the pastor back at home after that. I'm like, what would he have done had I asked him? And Father was like, there is nothing that would have made him feel more awkward than to ask to kiss his ring. He probably would have crippled and not known what to do.
That's fantastic.
But then we had a beer, me and Father did, and
I want to have him on, but he's been a little stingy with coming on. I don't know if stingy is the right word. He's discerning, but
yeah.
Anyway, you caught a beer with him.
Yeah, and he was telling me about like how big of an influence Bishop Schnurr had like on the American Catholic Church.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't realize, because I just know him as a great Archbishop of Cincinnati. But I was doing some digging on my way over here.
Okay.
And he was like the chair of World Youth Day in 93.
Denver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that, but then he and Saint JP2 got like a really good relationship then.
Mm-hmm.
But then he held like a notable office in like a notable position in USCCB.
Okay.
From like
that. Yeah.
From basically shortly after that.
Okay.
Until he became Archbishop of Cincinnati in 2008.
Okay.
So for those like 15, 20 years, he was like, I forget all the positions, but like he was like the treasurer at one point, but and then he never was the president, but like he was always running these like special councils. Like he was like, there was a bishop synod for like America, and Saint JP2 like asked him like specifically to like be like the head of it.
Interesting. Yeah.
Not the head of the synod, but like like be the representative, one of the representatives of the United States.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you're doing something right when you got respect from John Paul II.
Right. Yeah. And like I said, he was never the president, but like the amount of like special task forces that he was like a part, like head of, like it almost seemed like he was like too important to be president.
Yeah.
So like a lot of the way the Catholic Church in America has been formed,
touched by John Paul II, but Schnurr,
Archbishop Dennis Schnurr.
Yeah.
So wild amount of respect for that guy.
Yeah, and now he's no longer going to be part of the. Well, he's an administrator, whatever that means for the next while, and then Bishop Robert. Hey, if you're looking to grow in faith, fight self-doubt, and step into the man God's created you to be, I've got something for you. As a way to thank you and every man listening to the Hey Brother podcast, I put together a free guide called 7 Tools for Becoming the Man God Has Made You to Be. It's a simple yet powerful resource to help you build stronger brotherhood, strengthen your faith, and live more radically free. To grab your free resource, go ahead and type tools in the comment section below. That's TOOLS, tools in the comment section below, or email me tools with the subject line at nick@craftitformore, and I'll send that document straight to you. Now back to the episode. Hopefully. Let's get into John King.
Yeah. What an episode.
Yeah.
One of the first thoughts I've had about this episode was, I hope this becomes the most popular episode.
Yeah.
Because everyone has something to hear during that. I know John kept kind of like poking fun about how he was all over the place, but he was really spitting fire. Like a lot of he talked about so many relatable things that I think people that are like newer to their faith can like hear really good things, but also people that have like been in the faith for like a long time and experienced all different levels of like brotherhood and the relationship with the Lord, like that they can hear something that they relate to and can be challenged by. Yeah. In this episode.
Yeah. I mean, like, because I've known John for a little bit, and like he's been like growing in his faith. That's like something that's admirable about, like, he's very transparent about the way he's grown in his faith. Like, I should say it that way, right? And I think that's what allows it to touch like a lot of different areas of life, is because like you see different concrete points where John's like, yeah, no, like I'm growing in this area, and his humility is great. I love it. Yeah, it's good.
I also want to say that we are recording this right after the you guys recorded it, and it is currently 6 a.m. and we're at a warehouse
in the middle of Dayton.
Middle of Dayton.
Yeah, that narrative kept getting spun a little bit different each time.
That's funny. John said he wanted to know my true opinions about him, and I think the first thing I think about is that I respect John like a lot. Yeah. And it's mostly because he's bigger than me.
Oh, that's good.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding about the respect thing. No, like I do have, I just like, for real, like when I see him, I'm just, the first thing I think about is respect. And that's because like just the way he carries himself and like, you know, his position at St. Paul, like, like he's a bigwig, but like you said, like about his humility, like he doesn't, like it doesn't like strut it or anything.
Right.
But yeah, and I think he even was talking about like one of the things that he thought it was his strength, and I agree with him, is that he does like like read a room well and like and can. I've seen him in both modes, where he's being like a little goober with the dudes, but also like being super serious and when the time calls for it.
Yeah, I think I go to him when I think of like when I need like a good like general temperature take on a situation. Like, I'm like, John has that like even keeled, like he's not gonna be too far on any extreme when it comes to reading the room.
Yeah.
where Will might be the opposite. Because he filled in for you last week.
Yeah.
And Will's like, and I love it because it's like all the way in on one side or all the way on the other side.
He's pretty. He operates in the extremes.
Yeah, which is great.
That's funny, but yeah, I do see his focus, John's focus on like the things that are important to him, and like he said he wanted to hear some cons about him too, and that would be the only thing that ever bothered me about John was like, I know there's been like times where we were like in a group or something and he was really focused on something else.
Sure.
which is like respectable because like I know just because I know John to the point that I do is like focused on like he's not following like a soccer game or something stupid. I know whatever it has his attention is way more important than what's going on right now, or else he wouldn't have.
Sure.
He wouldn't be diverting his attention the way he is.
Yeah.
So
you're confident that it's off on like something that's important, right?
More important than me at that moment. Yeah. Me and like the group in general.
Yeah. But even in that, like there's like something relatable in the male mind, right? Like how easy it is to all of a sudden get caught up in like what we find to be important or like the problem that we're trying to fix. Like it's really easy to get sucked up in that and not be present to people around us.
Yeah.
Like I find myself doing that a lot of times where it's like, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to repeat what you're saying because like I didn't hear anything. like my mind was somewhere else.
Happens to my wife all the time.
Yeah. It's fair.
Yeah, she's like, "Did you hear anything I said?" I'm like, on one level, yes, but on a much more real level, no. I have no idea what you told me. You just said to me.
Yeah. Man. So what do you feel like was like I mean, you got a lot of takeaways from. You said this was your favorite episode. To date. What's some of the takeaways that?
Well, a real quick personal aside.
Okay.
He's the first person that I've ever described me as not loud. Like, I'm not sure that people like. I can't say that people haven't thought that. But we had some minor technical difficulties, but you asked what was making what made me think that this was such a good episode, and I just want to go like kind of top down. I have some notes here on because I don't want to miss anything. Mm-hmm. But he started talking about high school, and I think one of the things that I took away from that story is just like he is very aware of his growth as a human, in particular, like the amount of confidence that like you grow in, right?
Yeah. And
like that's definitely just like an age thing. But like he was talking about his like dorky kind of proposal thing,
right?
that went like very, very not well. but like everyone, I don't know. I asked when me and my wife were in high school, I asked her to like prom in kind of like ways that I haven't told other people about.
Sure. Yeah.
But like,
are you ready to go public with those ways?
No. No. I'll keep those between me and her. But like, and then like he was just like talking about like lacrosse too, right? In college. And just the way he told the stories, you could see like how like he was shifting from like maybe not so confident of a person to like the confident man that we know now.
Yeah.
You know?
think I know what you're saying. Yeah, there's like this progress and like, I guess living more freely and being confident in who he is. But I don't know. You felt like that was like pretty evident, like by the way he's talking about it, or
Yeah, right. I mean, I guess maybe I'm projecting a little bit because I feel the same way. Because like,
yeah,
it has to do with a sense of identity too, right? And if I could sum up like the one thing that I would like, the one word I would take away from the whole podcast was the word identity. Because even after like the college and stuff, he was talking about imposter syndrome, which is like, the direct opposite of confidence, right?
right,
But it's like very common for people to like who are confident to like also experience imposter syndrome, because like the confidence that they like
project or like put it out there.
Yeah, isn't always like how they feel internally about it, and like that's maybe like what the definition of imposter syndrome is.
This mismatch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely. I thought it was interesting too about.
Is there? Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, no, what were you gonna ask?
I was gonna say, is there like a difference between like imposter syndrome and fake it till you make it, or is it all like kind of the same thing?
There's a subtle difference, and maybe that's like the confidence that you feel behind it.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, fake it till you make it attitude can lead to imposter syndrome, but it definitely doesn't have to. Because like, there's some things that I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm doing it perfectly.
Yeah. Interesting. It's like kind of like more like the internal disposition you have.
I mean, I'm like, because I'm kind of doing that right now because my my teammate is out on maternity leave right now.
Okay.
And she's like been like the number one on the team for like the last 3-4 years. And so she's like the amount of knowledge she has, I'm like just beginning to brush on. But like we had a big order like come in, and I'm like just taking it in, and I'm like, I am knocking this out of the park. I'm doing a great job. And awesome. So, but then the other part of that is like, I could also have the attitude of like, man, I'm getting things turned in, but I really don't know what I'm doing, and like I don't know why they're trusting me to do this. So it's like an internal disposition.
Yeah, towards
that I would think.
Yeah.
But yeah, the one thing that like I thought was really interesting that he highlighted was like managing people older than you, and I'm like, I can 100% understand how that is like an awkward
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what makes you think of that would be awkward? Like, have you experienced that before?
No, I haven't. But just like, I mean, like I just have like it's like an elder respect thing, right? To like someone like as far as 10 years older than you, like to like try to tell them what to do. It's just like, I don't know. Maybe it's because like as I became, transitioned from a 22-year-old to a 27-year-old, I realized like how much more I know about life in those 5 years, and then to like see someone 10 years older than me and be like, I think I know something that you don't know. Just like
blows your mind.
Like no. But like that's not what management is.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I think I could do something like that, and maybe that makes you a better manager to like know that your people under you know like more than you.
Right.
You don't have to be able to do the job of someone you manage. You just have to like manage their skill sets and like the time, right?
Yeah. I mean, a good manager or good leader is like somebody who sets people up for success.
Right, exactly.
Right? And like you don't necessarily have to know the job, or you do the job well, be able to do the job well. You can know it, but like, but also see like a good leader like knows where to compensate for his weaknesses, right? Like that's like I need so and so on my team to make up for this because this is a glaring weakness that I have.
Exactly. I'm just thinking of like if you're building a house, like you don't have to know how to like wire the house. You just need to know how to get the person house to wire the house.
Yeah, your relatives to wire the house. Yeah. What was what else from John's interview?
Yeah, and pressing into that identity thing. And this is going to be a little bit of a roundabout, but he also talked about college, about how freshman year was really nice with roommates, but then his sophomore year was like pretty tough with
the RA life.
Yeah. And like depression and having days where like he's not getting out of bed. And like I experienced a very similar thing my sophomore year of college. And I think there's more to it than like just me and him, obviously. Like I think the sophomore slump is like a real thing. And like the difference between me and him is that like I was living in an intentional community. Like I was involved in St. Paul's outreach, and while I didn't live in household because we had to live on campus for 2 years, we got to pick our roommates, and we called ourselves dormhold, which was like household, but for those confined to the dorms for another year. But that was the first time that I ever experienced multiple days where like getting out of bed was just like the hardest thing.
Yeah. I'm curious what that is, like that effect, like being in college, being sophomore year.
Well, here's the tie-in. I think it's identity. You're, for some reason, like that freshman year, I know, for like my experience, right, coming from a small town, when I was sitting in a room, most of the time I was the smartest person in the room.
Sure.
Getting the best grades. I was like one of the most athletic people in the room.
Yeah.
I had lots of friends in that room. And like, you know, I was the top dog in a lot of different areas in life.
Yeah.
And then I went to Ohio State, and now you're none of those things.
Yeah. You're one of 60,000, right?
Yeah. You're not even close to being one of the smartest in the people in the room. You're not even close to being the most athletic person in the room.
Yeah.
I don't know. Me and Nick Bosa, we're pretty close.
Pretty close.
But
yeah. Man, oh man.
But
did you have a class with Nick Bosa?
No, my sister-in-law did though.
Nice.
Supposedly, she said that he was in the class, but the only time she saw him was on the day of the final. The only time he actually showed up to class.
That's fantastic.
But freshman year, I could still fake it through that identity, right? Because I was able to get. I mean, my freshman grades were the best grades I got in all of college.
Yeah.
I like made friends, and like I said, like there was like an environment in that my freshman dorm that I didn't have quite the same in my sophomore room. Like there was just more people, so like I knew a lot more people than my sophomore year. My community intentionally was being more refined, right? I wanted to spend more time with better people, which is a little foreshadowing to the topic later. But my sophomore year, my classes got really hard, right?
Yeah.
I'm not in like general classes now. I'm in my major classes, and not just my major classes, but like it's like the first, like I have my degree in chemical engineering, right? Mm-hmm. And sophomore years, you take your first chemical engineering class, and those classes are designed to get you to quit chemical engineering. Because they don't want you to like invest your time in something that you're not going to follow through with.
That makes sense. So you got number or letters and stuff.
So now for the first time in my life, I have to like figure out how to study. And like for the first time in my life, like not everyone is my friend.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, like I didn't have a core sense, like everything I thought I knew about myself was just being ripped to shreds.
Yeah.
And that all came to fruition that sophomore year.
And you feel like that's similar to what sophomores in general feel, but John too, right?
I would assume that he would probably argue that he felt something similar.
Yeah, that identity just kind of come crashing down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who am I?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think, Emily, like, here's the plug, right? Here's the answer to that. Like, that's the first time I also wrestled with my true identity as, like, because, like, I hit low, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like,
yeah.
and it was through, like, St. Paul's outreach and the formation program that, like, I've heard for the first time, no, you're not any of those things. What you are is the Son of God.
Right.
The Son of the infinite God that loves you and doesn't care about your grades. It doesn't care about your social status. He doesn't care about, well, like, he cares about every part of you, but, like, you're more than that, right? You're more than your grades. You're more than your social status. You're more than your athletic ability. Right. And, like, that wasn't something I knew at all, right? Yeah. I mean, like, there's even a part of it coming from a big family, right? Like, you have to prove. You don't, like, it's not, like, on mom and dad for that, like, but there was a sense of it that, like, you have to prove that, like, you're worthy of love. I don't know if you've experienced that.
Yeah, sure.
But, like, being the fourth kid that was traumatically bullied by my older siblings until I was about, like, 8 or 9 years old.
Yeah.
It's something that became part of me.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's fair. Like,
the
more you get into Catholic psych world, the more you're. It starts with a joke, but there's stuff there. like.
Oh no, I mean, I'm not even, like, joking that much, but I mean, I've worked through all these things before, and
yeah, that's what it's about. Like, when you come to, like, this place where you're like, what is my identity? Like, it's so easy to look back and see, like, I've stacked it up on a lot of things that they're actually fleeting, right? Like, they're not actually things that give me true purpose and meaning. And like, like, but it comes from mom and dad to some degree. It's like we all grow up in imperfect schools of love, right? Like, so we can love our families, we can love our parents, and we do, but at the same time we can acknowledge, like, they screwed us up in some ways. Yeah. Right. Like, and it's not just them. It's like the environment we grow up in, and like, why do we try to place identity in sports, right? Because that's what was praised in, like, the culture we grew up in, right? So, like, then I'm gonna get good at sports, right? Like, that, if that's how I can actually earn some, like, love and attention, like, that's what I'm gonna do. So good.
It's funny because, like, me and my wife have talked about that too. Because, like, we both, like, one thing that, like, we have in common is that, like, we're both good at everything we do. Like we're not bad at anything. We're, like, almost prototypically jack of all trades, master of none.
Sure.
And we, like, talk about that. And there's just, like, it's just, like, because, like, some people just, like, can't do a thing, and we just, like, don't fathom that. Like, it's like we're good learners, and we can pick up skills pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Not trying to brag or anything, but, like, that's just who we are. And like, that was, like, the follow up to that is, like, you know what, like, you know where that comes from? Like, deep wounds. Like, we're very wounded. Like, like, it's from, like, not receiving, like, proper praise and like, encouragement in the right ways from, like, our parents. It's, like, from having to, like, feel like we have to earn love, just in the states that we were in.
Yeah, and so you become chameleons and learn to do
all,
right? Like,
right.
Instead of,
and like I said, like, we're like we've processed through that stuff, but and it's now it's, like, something that we, like, love about ourselves is that like we can pick up about anything and be good at it. But like, it came from a false sense of identity.
Yeah, and, like, it's like in God's providence, He works through our wounds, right? Like, the ways that we've been wounded, He blesses and makes us whole in that. So, and I think that's, like, what
Mom and Dad, if you loved me well enough, then I wouldn't be married to Brooke right now.
Yeah, right. If only, gosh. That's funny. Yeah. I think like John's story kind of captures that too. Like I think he's like a man who embraces those areas of woundedness, and like has chosen, like maybe there's been times where he like hasn't chosen it, but like the times I've known, he's chosen to persist through the hard things and like continue to choose conversion even in the midst of like discomfort. and like, that was something that was really evident like when you talked about the retreat that we took him on. Like I don't feel comfortable about this. It's like, yeah, I'm glad that you're here, like even if you don't feel comfortable about this retreat. But what else from John's? I mean, we'll probably wrap it here in a second, but like what else from John's?
We've got to get into Brotherhood still too. One, he plugged like household, and I want to like re-echo that opportunity to live in an intentional house with like other men. It's by far the most formative thing you can do. I got to live in household at St. Paul's Outreach my last year.
Okay.
And I lived with 6 people that I would have never talked to.
Yeah.
Like, I would have bumped into them in like formation and stuff and like be cordial. But like I had an opportunity to like get to know like 6 people, and like they became like good friends, and like we challenged each other to like continue to grow. And like that's like the benefit of living with someone that John highlighted, that there's highs and lows, but like the ultimate gift is that iron sharpens iron, and you guys are just molds of virtue that you guys like bring out in each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think living in a household or a household environment, if anyone has the chance, not even if you have the chance, if you're a single dude, like seek the opportunity.
Yeah. They grasp at, or they try to take it, seize the day.
Yeah, right.
Is that what you were alluding to earlier when you're like talking about surrounding yourself by better people?
A little bit. He was talking about his online community, about with like the video games.
Yeah.
And like how like there was like some things coming up in his Discord that were like not, stuff that like good virtuous men should be doing. And it just like reminded me of the fact, like, and this is part about living in a household, but something that I've found to be true is that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yeah.
And like, if you live if you're in a toxic environment where people aren't pursuing virtue, you're not going to be pursuing virtue.
Yeah.
But if the 5 people you spend the most of your time with are good, virtuous people, you'll find yourself being on the same thing.
Yeah.
So like that's where like this is one of the benefits of household. You don't have to live in a household to have that, but because and that's what I was talking about earlier about like my sophomore year, where I was kind of like refining who I spend time with. It's like I recognize that fact that like some people are bringing me down. They're fine dudes, but like I'm not being the person that I want to become when I spend time with that person. Right. So like I'm not cutting you out, but I'm just wanting to find people that elevate me. I want to spend more of my time with people that are going to do that rather than spend my like most of my time with people that are bringing me down.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
I know some people probably felt like I cut them out. But that's just how I was, feeling like I'm like I want to be a strong, virtuous person.
and sometimes you got to do that though, like to actually like make good boundaries in a relationship. Like sometimes it can't be because you know yourself, right? It can't actually I can't be somewhere in between. It's gonna lead to like real bad real fast. I have a friend from back home where like that's the case. Right? I'm going to go to a bar, like there's no shot at like there being a virtuous time there, right? Like it's going to be not good,
right?
and like that, like that's when the Lord says, like when you have a right hand, like that's causing you to sin, to cut it off, right? That's what it is. I mean, the person that you're friends with, like they're still a person, so like they have inherent dignity, but at the same time, you can know yourself and you can know the effect that they have on you. And
yeah.
It's like I need to get this relationship, like, there needs to be a boundary here.
Yeah.
In this relationship.
You know, it's really tough though to like love a person, and that's what I failed at when I kind of did that. Like, there were some dudes that I wanted to like actually still maintain a relationship with, but I didn't because I was probably more cowardly than, you know what I mean? Because there's definitely a balance because like you still want to care about the people that you care about, right?
Right.
And I don't know. Yeah. Like when I'm like, there's just people that I probably could have tried to stay in touch more or like bring along with me.
Yeah.
But
as you journey, grew in virtue. Yeah. It's like, I love that from Bobby's story where he talked to our friend Jarrett, and Bobby asked Jarrett about his photography.
Yeah.
And Jarrett's like, I think you can do it better.
Yeah.
Like, such a gentle, like, soft but good challenge, right? Like,
yeah, right.
Like, I think you're really talented, but I think you can do it better. And I think that's the same thing, like, with the guys that, like, it's like, I'm not being friends with you because I hate you. It's like, you're actually a really good dude, but I think you could be doing life better, right? Like,
Yeah.
like that's just the simple truth of it, right?
Right.
Yeah. And that's a hard thing to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last thoughts on John?
Jelly on bacon, egg, and cheese is the most wild thing I've ever heard.
Jelly on bacon, egg, and cheese.
That's my last thought on John.
Bacon, egg, and cheese. Yeah.
With some like grape jelly. Like, what the
I didn't even process like when he was talking about it. I just knew it was weird.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to try it. Like,
I'm not tempted to try that at all.
Dude, I've had some of the best wild combination. Renee makes some really awesome lemon spaghetti.
That sounds great.
Sounds great. Okay. Yeah. I thought that sounded weird. I'm like, lemon spaghetti? What are you talking about?
Oh, we make we're making it Friday. Broccoli lemon feta.
Yeah.
If like with penne noodles.
Yeah.
Most delicious dish.
Interesting. Yeah.
But like shrimp scampi is like a pasta dish with like it's just like lemon, shrimp, and angel hair, and garlic, lots of garlic. But
yeah, I only taste the garlic when I eat shrimp scampi. So
yeah,
no lemon.
Lots of lemon in that too.
All right. Good to know. Well, hope you guys were impacted by John's episode like we were. I mean, Mitch had his favorite episode to date. I certainly enjoyed it. I was a blast just talking with him and having that conversation. It's funny. It was the nicest looking warehouse, I suppose, that people see. The same warehouse. But it was good to have him on. And as always, these are me and Mitch's thoughts. If you guys have any thoughts about this, we'd love to hear from you. Send a comment in the comment section. What do you think about jelly on bacon, egg, and cheese, or jam, whatever it was? And send us an email at nick@craftformore.com. We heard from one guy, and it was good. I sent that to Mitch, and we just love hearing from you guys. And so, send some comments, send an email, and we'll catch you guys next time. God bless.